Hey guys, good morning. It's Sean Madavi here with Realbies.com, and I've got special guest Josh Schoenly. There he is, pointing to himself. Good morning, Josh. What's up?
Good morning.
Hey, now I typically read these bios, but I'm getting away from it because if people don't know who you are by now, then they're crazy,
They can, or they can go find out. I mean,
and
I-
they can go find out. I mean, I do want you to ask you a couple questions though, real quick about how you got into the business and where you're at today, because I know you started out in real estate a while back, and I don't know if you're still actively selling real estate right now, but you've run a real estate team. Your business partner Ryan Hartman and you started Reticulous.com, which is I mean, I would say it's world renowned. I don't know if they're doing real estate over in Egypt or anything, but they probably should learn the techniques that you guys are teaching.
I- well, it's funny that you say that because we've had people on our webinars from like places like we've never places that I am aware of, but I've never like we've had people from Iceland and
Dubai.
Australia, New Zealand, Dubai. I mean, like all kinds of crazy places. So yeah, it's funny that you said that.
Well, because a lot of the stuff that you teach, a lot of the principles that you teach are not just they're all segmented to real estate, but the principles are true in any industry really. I mean, if
Yep.
you're a dentist, you could use exact same things to drive traffic to your website and ultimately convert more customers.
Yep.
But recently, I don't know, earlier, late last year, you actually merged your business over with Lone Wolf Technologies, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Congratulations! I know that was a big move for you guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I wanted we did this interview a while back, and I actually messed up on the audio, and so or I don't think I recorded all of it or not. So we're going to get the full piece now, and we are recording. We are live right now. But I want to talk to you today, and I want you to really explain. I know you've got three fundamental principles that you talk about when it's coming to lead generation and conversion, and I know that's like your core. That's the thing that you do,
Yeah.
and then what we're going to do is also going to talk about a special webinar that you and I are going to be doing together, which is this Thursday. Now, guys, if it's past this Thursday, don't worry about it. We'll probably got a replay here somewhere on the page. We're going to talk about that as well, but just to set the tone real quick, talk about your career into real estate. Why lead generation was just that one thing that you jumped on? Why that was so important for you and your
Yeah.
business?
So I got started in real estate investing, buying properties. I was wholesaling properties, renovating, pretty much the whole gamut in investing. And in that type of business in particular, especially because I was doing this in an area that I didn't grow up in. It's where my wife grew up. And so I didn't know anybody past who I knew through her family and some of her friends. To get anything done, to do any business, I had to lead generate. I had to do cold lead generation. So that sort of was the start of, when I had to find sellers, I had to do lead generation. To find people to buy my wholesale deals, I do lead generation. To find people, renters for apartments that I had available. All of that stuff sort of led me down the path of lead generation. And I first really started digging in and basically using Craigslist as the medium to do lead generation. But what's funny is the three things that we'll share, they're the exact same three things or principles that I was using, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago now, and they'll be the same. The medium through which you do the three things may change, but the actual three principles, they really won't ever change. I mean, and they haven't changed for forever. I mean, as long as people have been, people who've done, newspaper lead generation in the 1800s, they were using the same three principles. So fast forward a little bit, I got my real estate license. I was a solo practitioner for a little bit. I had a small team for a little bit. Partnered with my partner, Ryan Hartman, who Sean mentioned, launched what we call Reticulous, and have made that our primary focus, mainly because I actually have a teaching background, and so I like teaching and coaching. It's what I prefer. I haven't actively worked with a client in a couple of years now, although I do still actively hold my license. I do refer a lot of leads because I do what we teach locally. So I practice what I preach. I just don't actually service the business, just because I'd rather spend time doing stuff like this so I can service and help, many folks like those of you listening to this. It's just a personal choice.
Well, that's one of the things I love about you is that you just said that you actually, you refer leads out because I know firsthand that you won't actually put a product out unless you've tested it in your business yourself. Although you're not selling, you can refer the leads out. So I know you're probably like kind of like a rock star there locally with a lead. A lot of the agents like who could be Josh Schoenly's best friend because you're gonna get the most leads. But so that's good. So yeah, I know, and that's one of the things like I said I love about you guys is that when you have something, when it's a cool system or a new like technique, it's like you always have a case study to it. They're like, hey, this is exactly what we did step by step, and this is how you're going to do it as well. So that's
In
really
fact,
cool.
we're going to talk about principles on this, but on the webinar, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to walk you through some recent case studies of people, both our own from local, but people following our methodology and just having crazy results. So that's actually what we'll be showing everybody on the webinar, which I guess is below this, or
Yeah.
you'll find it somewhere on the page where
But
you want.
don't click it yet because
Yeah,
we got
don't do
yeah.
that yet. We need to know the principles first.
Yeah, exactly.
See that? Yeah.
Well, so let's get right into that, man. I mean, last time we had a lot of good time and we're recording this, and I know it was kind of a bummer when it went out.
Yeah.
Let's get into that because it was some amazing stuff, and like you said, this isn't stuff that you created. This is stuff that's been going on for ages, and people still just don't get it. So let's pour the
Yeah.
knowledge out today.
And yeah, certainly we didn't create it. Maybe our terminology is different or whatever, but yeah, that's not like there's nothing new under the sun, right? I mean,
Well,
it's
you
all
made it sexy though.
yeah. Okay, all right.
You
Well,
brought the
let's
sexy
go with
back.
that. So you're going to want to write these three things down, and then we'll sort of expand and we'll just banter on each one of them. So the first thing you need for lead generation and conversion is a way to capture a lead, the way to get a lead into your funnel. We call them capture traps, just as a general way of doing it. And there's lots of ways that you can capture a lead. The primary two ways that we recommend right now are through squeeze pages or lead capture pages. Pretty much mean the same thing. It's a single page website that has one function. Someone goes there, they can either enter information to be kicked into your funnel, right? You're offering something in exchange for their information, or they leave. And the reason we use those versus the traditional sort of branded website is when you look at conversion rates, the conversion rates on a squeeze page or a lead capture page will exponentially outpull a branded website. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have that for your business. I'm just saying if you're going to spend time or money doing number two, the second part of the second principle, which is driving traffic, getting eyeballs to whatever your capture trap is, you're going to spend time or money doing that. You need to send them to something that is the most efficient and effective way to capture as many of those leads. Then once you've got them in, then you can use some of your more branded things so that you can let the lead get to know you and your brand. Okay. So we've got two things so far. We've got capture trap, we've got driving traffic, and then we've got incubation, right? Taking that person from a cold, raw lead and turning them into a client. Okay. So I already started to expand on number one. We'll go a little deeper into number one. So capture traps, the two primary ones that we're using right now that seem to be most globally effective, and we're talking about cold lead generation. We're not talking about signs in yards or things like that. We're talking about cold lead generation primarily online. The two things that we're finding most effective are lead capture pages, and we'll show you in the case study. We're going to show you examples of really simple pages that are converting anywhere from 15 to 53% of visitors. That means for every 100 people that come, you're going to capture 15 to 53. Compare that to a traditional real estate website where it's like 0.5% to some that are really, really good. You're talking 6 or 7%. It's a lot more people in your funnel that you can potentially turn into clients. The second way that we're seeing as a really effective way, and one that you can all do immediately, is just simply making a call to action to text you for more information. And well, I'm going to show, again, I keep teasing this, but in that webinar, that case study webinar, we'll show you how we're doing that component, how we're getting leads contacting us on our cell phone, or we've got some, more advanced ways that it's done through the internet. But very simply, you all have to have a cell phone, and you all have to have a cell phone that's text enabled. So you all have a capture trap right here. This is your capture trap. You've got a cell phone number. You can effectively capture leads and really, warm leads, hot leads using that.
Josh, it's amazing how many agents today aren't using their mobile phone texting as a way to contact customers.
Yeah, and I mean, think about it. Like, I get texts now from my mom. Like, if my mom is texting me, like, you all need to be text proficient and need to be incorporating that.
Yeah.
It's a non-threatening way that people can get into an interaction with you. That's all we're trying to do, is create non-threatening ways, low-key ways that people can get into your fold, versus the, sort of the traditional way of sort of prospecting and browbeating people, right? It's a paradigm shift. Offer something of value that gives the person a reason to get into your fold, and to so that you can then let them get to know you and know your brand, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, it is interesting. Those people who refuse to adopt texting are I don't think they're going to last very long. So if you're one of those folks, figure it out. Start using this.
Yeah,
That's
and if
what your prospects clients want you to do.
no, that's good. I was talking to agents the other day. They're like, I can't. They were like on a lead generation system, and the leads that were coming in, they're like, these leads are just no good. I can't get a hold of anybody. I go, okay, well, how many times you call them? Well, I called them once. I left a message, but no one's calling me back. I'm like, all right, did you text them? Did you call him from another phone number? Did you text him from another phone number? Because most people, it's like, I will borrow your phone. If I'm sitting next to you and I'm trying to get a hold of somebody, I will borrow your phone and text them on your phone. I'm like, I'm going to get a hold of them any way possible. It's like,
I don't want to talk to Sean, but who's this other person? Oh, damn it, it's Sean.
It's like, I'm going to get a hold of somebody. If they filled out a form on my website for my information, I'm going to get a hold of them. Anyway, that's just another side note. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. So that's pretty simple. Like, that's the easiest part, right? Setting up something. Well, I say that's the easiest part. You've got to have something compelling to offer, right? It can't just be fill out this form, or text me. You've got to have a reason for them to do it. So, like, really effective, simple ways are offering free lists. So, free lists of foreclosure properties in blank area, or a free list of price reduced or recently priced reduced homes in blank neighborhood, or a free list of new construction townhomes in this school district, in whatever school district. That's a really effective way and offer that any of you can make. I mean, you all watching this, you have access to the MLS. You can all make offers like that, that are perfect for squeeze pages and lead capture pages. The way that we're most effectively getting text interactions is by giving people a little bit of information about something that they want. So we give them a couple of pictures, maybe, of a hot property, a smoking hot deal, and making the call to action to call or text for more photos or information. And it's really simple, and it gets. We did this yesterday on one of our buyer funnels, and we had 7 people text us between 10 and 4 o'clock.
Just for more pictures.
Yeah, well, just some of them I could even bring up, but it was anywhere from more pictures. I think 2 of them wanted to schedule a private showing because our exact wording was call or text this number for photos, more info, or to schedule a private showing. So I think 2 of them asked for a private showing, and the rest either wanted photos or more detailed information because we literally just said it was like smoking hot deal in CD schools under 200,000. Call or text for more info, right?
Wow.
So, but those people doing that are, those are people who are, seriously looking at real estate, right? If they're willing to take that action, they're pretty serious, right?
Yeah.
And we're not going to convert all of them into buyers, but we'll probably convert 1 or 2 and turn them into closings. So,
Yeah.
really simple and effective things that all of you can do and can implement really quickly. So the second part, right? So the first principle is you've got to have a way to capture leads. You've got to have a lead capture path, trap. The second part is driving traffic. You've got to have effective ways to get eyeballs on your traps, okay? There's lots of ways that you can do it. I'll give you our 2 favorite, and then I'll give you a bunch of others. Our 2 favorite are right now are Facebook, okay? Facebook, that's where the eyeballs are online. I don't even know the exact stats, but the statistics for the amount of time people spend on Facebook, it's insane, right? That's where your potential clients are hanging out, so you need to be there. And in the case studies that we show you on the webinar, they're primarily going to be a Facebook funnel process method that we're doing that is just getting just fantastic results.
Josh, did you read the article that just was released about how Facebook's changing the news feed to increase the interaction, the time that someone looks on it? Because they're doing studies, they're finding that people are getting bored with just scrolling through the news feed, and they're going to change it now to increase. It's already it's already a crazy amount of people that are engaged in it. Now they're going to make it more engaging.
Yeah. So you can't ignore Facebook. Like you have to have a Facebook strategy for your business. If you're someone who's watching, well, first of all, you're probably not watching this if you don't have a Facebook account, right? But if you don't have a Facebook account, you've got to get one, and you need to have a Facebook strategy for your business. Like that's where your potential clients are hanging out. You've got to be there and have a strategy for doing that, and we'll show you a strategy on the webinar. Now, the second way is Craigslist. Craigslist is getting to a point of, I would say, saturation in some markets where there's just like the flood of postings and so forth. But in many markets, it's still a big opportunity. And even in those markets where there is a flood, so many people are using poor strategy that if you're just a little bit more strategic, you can still get results, okay? Those are our favorite 2. There's lots of other ways. There's Google pay-per-click. There's SEO. There's just being strategic with what you've got on your business cards. You can be more strategic with your signs and flyers, right? There's lots of ways that you can drive traffic, but by far our favorite 2 for cold lead generation are Facebook and Craigslist. And there is a learning curve for that, but the nice thing is once you understand traffic, or once you understand these 3 principles, you really take control of your business. Because when you know these and when you can apply them, you don't have to rely on anyone else for the number of transactions that you want to do. And this is sort of a side note because I have ADD, but I recently did a video on the problem with referrals, right? And people are like, well, there aren't any problems with referrals. Referrals are great. Yes, referrals are wonderful. But if it's the only thing that drives your business, you have zero control over your business, right? I realize there are ways that you can cultivate referrals, but once there is also a plateau on the number of referrals you can cultivate because there is your sphere of influence is finite. Your past client database is finite, right? When you understand these principles, you control your business, right? You can, if you want to do double the amount of closings next month, or over the next next year, if you know and understand these principles, you can control that, right? So, yeah, ADD side note. Anyway, point number 3, and this is where so many agents, the majority, like big majority, totally screw up, is incubation. Sean already indicated one way that they screw it up. Somebody becomes a lead in your funnel and you make one attempt to reach out to them and you don't hear back and you're like, oh, that's a crappy lead. No, you're a crappy salesperson, right? Like so one way, there's 2 main ways that agents screw up the incubation part. And by incubation, I see, or conversion, that's how we make it sexy. We give
the relationship part of it, the building the relationship, gaining influence. Yeah. There's lots of different ways of putting it, but I get the incubation.
So the first way that people screw it up is not is making 1 or 2 attempts to follow up with the lead, and then you never follow through. You stop following up and you stop following through. The second way, which is actually, in my opinion, a bigger culprit, is that we don't follow up long enough, and we follow up in a way that's about me and not about them.
By the way, Josh, 80% of all sales are made on the 12th contact. 12th.
I didn't know that number, but I do know that NAR says that on average, internet buyer leads are, now this is the average, 4 months out of stepping into their first showing, right? So now some of them are right away ready. They're now buyers, right? Some of them, but on average, they're 4 months out. So what do I see agents doing? They only care about the ones that not only are ready to do business now, but are like gonna chase them, right? And it's good to get our prospects chasing us and attracting them, but you've got to have a longer focus, right? You've got to have a longer term plan for incubating those leads that are 4 months out or 8 months out or 12 months out, because that's how you build a real business instead of chasing your next closing. Just only focusing on where's my next closing going to be. If you focus long term and build a pipeline and a funnel of business, that's how you can change your business, and that's how you can double your business and have big impact.
Yeah.
So the other thing is we chase too many prospects away, right? So now this may sound like I'm making a contradiction here, because we just said that you need to follow up, but you've got to follow up in a way that is low key and cool. You cannot be somebody posted this on our page recently. You can't be coming out with commission breath, right? You cannot be selling them a home before they know you, right? They are looking to build a relationship for you. So for example, leads that text me, right? One of the nice things is they're telling me what they want, right? They're telling me the information they want. I would like more photos on this property. Okay? I can then send them more photos on this property, and then tomorrow I can call or text or email them and just say, hey, it's Josh. I just wanted to make sure you got the photos that you asked me for. Do you have any other questions? Not, hey, it's Josh. I sent you those photos. When do you want to go see the house, right? And I know most of you probably aren't that abrasive, but most of you probably aren't as low key as you can and should be, right? I mean, you've got to. It's like that marriage analogy. Like you're not going to marry a woman or a man on your first date. You gotta court them.
Gotta court them.
Yeah, and you got to do it in a way that's low key and not abrasive and just cool. So we have a whole follow-up sequence that our members use that is an email communication sequence that is way different than what you'll see most anywhere. And I'm going to give you three more principles that you can use in your emails. But I'll give you some examples of what they're like. So, for example, when someone requests a free list of, let's say, foreclosures, the first email just is giving them what they want, because you're holding on your first commitment, right? So they asked you for something. Your initial email is simply giving them that whatever they asked for. So it would be very short and conversational. Hey, here's that free list of foreclosures in Cumberland County you asked for, and a link to it. And then I would do we have one other sentence, is there? And it's just simply, just wondering, are you just browsing, or I don't even remember what it is. Are you have you just started to browse for a home, or have you set a date to move or something like that? And it's very low key and conversational. And not only that, it's asking a question. So there's like an expectation for the person to respond, right? And that's all we're trying to do, is to get into a conversation and get into a relationship.
There's another one. I don't know. Do you know who Dirk Zeller is?
Mm-hmm.
Dirk does one. He it's in a qualification question, but he says something like, have you and the family been out looking at houses? Have y'all? Because what he wants to do is he wants to identify if they've actually hit the road and they're actually driving around, because that shows a level of commitment that's different from someone that's on their computer typing around. Just little tiny subtle sentences like that, little questions that aren't abrasive and they're not invasive, and it gets people to start a conversation with you. That's good. I like that.
So I'll give you a second example of like these low key ones, and then I'll give you the three principles. I already sort of hit on it, but so that's the first day. The next day, the subject line is, did you get the list okay? Question mark, right?
Yeah,
so they're asking a question, right? Did I get what list? They may have forgotten, or maybe they looked, and this is reminding them, oh yeah, I did want to look some more, whatever. And they open it up, and it just simply says, oh, hey, just wanted to make sure you got that list of foreclosures okay. If not, here's the link. Oh, by the way, are you looking to buy a primary residence, or are you looking for an investment property?
That's good.
Okay. Now, depending on what you're offering, like if you were offering new construction townhomes.
Now, you're saying this in an email?
Yeah.
So you're looking for the response to the email to come to the email box.
All you're trying to do is get an interaction, right? You're just trying to get into a communication with them, and any answer is fine, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they answer. All you're trying to do is to get into conversation. See who the people who are further along in the process are. So the three things, or the three principles that I believe you should have in every single email, whether it be a follow-up sequence of emails like some examples I just gave, or you're just emailing an existing client. Principle number one is they should all be short and sweet and conversational in tone. Short, sweet, and conversational in tone. Something that you would write to a friend or family member, right? No one cares that you were top 1% in your local market, or top 5%, or whatever. No one cares how many homes you sold last month, or last week, or last year, or whatever. They only care about them, right? So make it short, sweet, and conversational. Number two, make sure that there is a benefit or potential benefit. Okay, so in the initial example I gave you, the benefit was delivering on the offer that you made them. This person filled out their email because you offered them something in exchange for that email. So deliver that to them, right? Mm-hmm. Number three, include an expectation of response. Okay, the first one I said was, are you just browsing? Or I like Dirk's. Are you just browsing, or have you and the family been out looking at homes yet?
Yeah, that's good.
The second one, are you looking for a primary residence, or are you looking for an investment property? Another one we use in the sequence is that the whole email is this. This one's gets crazy response and unbelievable open rate. So the subject line is all lowercase letters, just curious. People, here's how I know it's so good, because when I'm testing them, I get the email and it tricks me sometimes. Like I open it, I'm like, just curious about what? So when they open it, it said, just curious, are you, have you been talking with a lender? Or would you like me to get you in touch with our lender? She's the absolute best. Or you didn't even have to put the last part on. It could just be, just curious, have you been working with a lender yet? Just let me know either way. In fact, that's what it says. Are you working with a lender yet? Question mark. Please let me know either way. So there's an expectation for them to respond, and there's no bad answer. It's either yes or no. Yes? Great. That means they're probably already pre-approved, or at least working to get pre-approved. No. When they say no, I say, terrific. Would you like me to have Barb get in touch with you? She's the best.
Yeah.
Simple. You're just getting into conversation. So again, those three things are: one, short, sweet, and conversational in tone; two, conveying a benefit or potential benefit for them; and three, there's an expectation for them to respond, and there's no bad answer. There's no bad answer, right? It's just, you're just looking to get into an interaction with them. It's really that simple.
And what you didn't say the word, but what I get from this email conversation, I get where you're going with, it's trying to start the conversation, but one of the things, that the word that you didn't say was value. You're providing value with these emails. The email is not about getting the sell. It's about providing little tiny bits of value to them and building that relationship, and building relationships about providing value, reciprocating the value. It's not about, hey, you do for me. It's, what can I do for you? And it's in little tiny bits. I love that, Josh. I'm
glad you brought that up, because that's a really important distinction, right? I mean, that's a big paradigm shift, like, that I think the internet has brought about. Like, you've got to deliver value first before you can begin to expect back, right?
Yeah.
There may be some instances where people will just do business with you because you're there. But in most cases, particularly when you're talking about cold lead generation and conversion, which is what we're talking about here, you have got to be providing value first. Building up a bank of goodwill is one way to, describe it, in that prospect's mind, so that, keeping in mind, so that when they are ready to work with someone, you are going to be that person. Because again, the average lead is 4 months out from stepping foot in your home. So if you've just provided value that whole time, what often happens, and we see this all the time, is eventually you get emails like this, where the person says, hey, this is Bill. I've been getting your emails for 6 months now. Amy and we are now ready to get going, and there's no one I'd rather work with. What do we need to do? Like, that's literally the kind of interactions that start to happen when you follow these sort of methodologies and follow up in a way that's delivering value, that's short, sweet, conversational. And I think another one, this isn't one of the core principles, but is letting them know about your personality, and even like some insights into your family. Like, one of the strategies we recommend for sort of longer term conversion is sending out great deals. So, one of the things that you should be doing is actively previewing homes in your market, right? When you come across a home that's just a great deal or a great value, sending that out to your list of prospects and explaining why is another way to show that you provide value.
Yeah.
And so you could say something like, hey, I was out previewing homes for one of my clients, and I came across this great deal. Thought I'd let you all know about it just in case you might be interested. And then just some brief details. Now, the way you personalize it is, and what I used to do a lot is like, hey, I was out previewing homes for one of my clients with my son, Caden. And if you do those little bits of personalization, You'll also get emails like this, which we get all the time, like, hey, I've been on your list. I've been getting your emails for so long. I feel like I know you personally. It's like I know your family and so forth. You know, we're finally ready to do something. What do we need to do? And that's what it comes down to. Like, just be cool, be yourself, and think about how you view the transaction from your side. So, like, think about it when you go to the car dealership, right? If you're looking at cars, do you want to work with the guy who's like chasing you down like a cougar, or do you want to work with a guy who comes out with a low-key, cool attitude, who's just there to serve and help you, right? Like, hey, saw you're looking at this, you know, this vehicle. Is there anything that is there any questions that I might be able to answer for you? Or, you know, would you like to take it for a test drive? Is there something else we might look at? Rather than that, you know, the person who's just like the killer instinct, right?
Yeah. The commission breath guy.
Yeah, the commission breath guy. Guy wants to get,
we need to go look for a home. Are you guys ready yet? Come on. You know, you get pre-approved. It's like constantly, like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and you know what? You may lose a few people with that, with this sort of low-key approach, but I guarantee you'll pick up way more that you wouldn't have gotten. In fact, I mean, it would be exponentially more than you wouldn't have gotten. So
yeah.
So those are the principles, my man.
I love it. No, man, this is good stuff. I think the biggest thing I got from this is really just the email. You know, I can't. I mean, I know you've personally coached and mentored hundreds of agents, and how many times? I mean, just a percentage of how many percentage of how many people don't have some type of autoresponder series that's communicating to their customers. I mean, I honestly could say it's anywhere from 70-80% of the agents that I've personally worked with do not have anything like that set up, and that's one of the reasons why there's only like, you know, that 20% of the agents are doing 80% of the business.
Yeah. So, I mean, another thing to think about with that is as you're building your database of leads, you know, we're not talking about the ones that are clients yet, but that is like, if you do it right, that's your ATM machine. Right. And so, like, you ignore it and you're ignoring just money, right? I mean, if you, and I experienced the same thing. I mean, so many people that we talk to, they've got maybe 100 leads, a couple hundred leads, sometimes 1,000, a couple of thousand leads that they're like not doing anything with. They don't have any sort of follow up. And I'll tell you what, I mean, anything is better than nothing, right? So even if you got a bad one, you're still going to get some interaction. You know, ideally, if you put these principles in place and you use some of the scripts that we provide for our members and stuff, you're going to get fantastic results. But any action is better than no action with them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point. It's sad but true.
So I want to talk about two more things. We're coming up to the end. 452 leads in 4 days. 4 days, guys.
That's right.
You got a case study that we're going to, and I love your case studies because it's like you're like showing stuff, like you're showing the actual funnel.
Exactly, the whole like literally.
I mean, if someone was just to record the webinar and like implement this one case study that you're doing, they're probably going to make like $200,000 this year.
Yeah, no, people do, and we're okay with that. I mean, some people are of that mindset, right? They're the do it for you, and some people want shortcuts, and that's fine. I mean, everybody's different, but yeah.
So tell me why they should click the link and register for this webinar and follow it 100%. Just break it down.
I mean, we talked about this a little bit already, but when you understand this stuff, and when you have and can follow and set up a funnel following a methodology that we're going to show in the webinar, you are in control of your business. You don't have to sit awake at night wondering how you're going to pay your next mortgage bill or electric bill or whatever. You don't have to worry about where your next referral is going to come from. You need more business, you literally turn on the faucet. You're too busy, you turn off the faucet. It's really that simple. And, you know, we're going to show, I think it was 452 leads in 4 days.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we launched a new funnel, and I'm looking over here. I think we had 142 leads from yesterday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon through this morning, whenever time we're doing this. And literally, the fellow we've got it done for, he's like, dude, you got to turn it off for now. I got to catch up. And that's what it, you know, certainly he's not going to do 142 transactions, but for the cost that it costs to get those leads, even if he just does 3 transactions, it's going to be, you know, a huge ROI for him. And so that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is being able to control and not have to worry about where your next client, where your next commission check is going to come from. And we will show that soup to nuts. Exact process, exact method, how to set up a funnel to do that. Now, full disclaimer, like, you know, I can't guarantee that you're going to generate 452 leads in 4 days, but I know that everybody who follows this methodology is seeing results, you know.
But you're going to show the exact funnel, the one that did. So,
oh yeah,
this is a case study.
I'm showing a couple.
Yeah, this isn't like a make believe. This is like a real deal. No. So awesome. So do us a huge favor. If you see the link right now, go ahead and click it and get registered for it. If it's already passed, I'm sure we'll have a replay up somewhere. And also, I want to talk about Realbies Pro, because you have I'm so honored that you have, you know, given your time and your talent and your treasure to Realbies, and you've done 2 trainings. One of which is how to generate leads through Facebook. So you actually break down, you actually go through and do another example on there. And another one you've done is you actually broke down the Craigslist ad sandwich, which is, I mean, if I could like be in love with one of the a Craigslist tactic, that is the one thing that I would just like marry, because I think it's just stupid simple, and like my 10-month-old son could do it and make money with it. You know, it's crazy. And you actually break that whole thing down in the Realbies Pro. So anyone that's not a member of that, please there's a button around here somewhere, click on it, take the $1 trial. We're doing a 14-day $1 trial of that system. And you know, Josh, I really appreciate you doing these trainings, man. You're really awesome. You're a good friend. Yeah, good friend. And so what's next for you guys? I saw, you know, you're like a Facebook rock star. Y'all have like 50,000 Facebook friends. What can you want to promote some stuff right now? We'll put links on this page, your Facebook fan page.
Yeah, we'll put our fan page. If you're not a fan, check that out. And you know, we'll put a link to our site where you can get updates and so forth. And you know, we lead generation and conversion, that's like our drug, right? That's how we get high. So what you know, what you'll get from us is what's working now always. Like the case study we're going to show you on the webinar is, you know, we didn't even have that strategy a year ago, and we started playing with the strategy 6 months ago and really dialed it in a month ago. And a year from now, or even 6 months from now, it's going to be different, right? And so that's what you get with us, is we stay ahead of the curve when it comes to that
bleeding edge.
Yeah. So, and
awesome.
That's how we get high.
Yeah.
That's what we enjoy.
Your internet high. Well, awesome, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you doing that, guys. Let's click on the link, get into the webinar. We'll see you later on this week, and if it's already passed, we'll see you on the replay. But again, Sean Madavi, Josh Schoenly, Realbies.com. Appreciate you guys. Have a good day.
Thanks all. Good luck.